Hello everybody, welcome back to Checkered Flag Corner. I'm having to hold my phone this week because my ring light stand is kind of screwed up. Won't stand on its own, but it's fine, we're going to roll with it. We just finished watching the Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and what a weird race this was. Coming off the chaos and calamity of the Daytona 500 finish last week, we had even more chaos as the race went on today, but the first stage was won by Josh Berry in the Wood Brothers car, in a complete green flag stage with no cautions. And then in stage two, stage two was won by Kyle Larson, his first stage win on a drafting track, which you really think that he'd have more. Of course, over the course of the day, a few drivers did make themselves very notable. Carson Hocevar still pulling his old tricks, becoming the new Ricky Stenhouse Jr., becoming more aggressive and causing more wrecks. Made a lot of drivers angry. As a matter of fact, there's a few drivers talking to him now. Looks like that went down amicably between him and Ryan Blaney. Oh well. Ricky Stenhouse, of course, pulls his old tricks, put the 9 into the wall. He says he got hit by Briscoe, and if you look at the footage, that's what it looks like, but of course, it also looks like he turned into Briscoe, then directly turned into Elliott, but that's not the point. Quite a few crashes, quite a few spins today, but let's talk about the notable drivers who did exceedingly well in this race. Now, first and foremost, we got to talk about the Toyotas. The Toyotas, they did not qualify well. For the better part of this race, Bubba Wallace in the 23 for 2311 Racing was hands down the best Toyota in the field, constantly in the top 10 or top 15. And it stayed like that until right at the start of Stage 3 when the other Toyotas finally started to make their way forward. A lot of people did not peg Toyota to win this race, but we'll get to that in a minute. I also want to talk about Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland has done great at every kind of track he's raced at in the past couple of years. He almost won Bristol last year as a part-timer. Todd Gilliland also almost won Atlanta last year as a part-timer. Wait, was he part-timer last year? I forget. Well, anyway, it's not the point. If you want to correct me in the comments, that's fine. Todd Gilliland has almost won Atlanta, almost won Bristol, almost won Talladega, almost won Daytona last week. Sorry, I'm kind of going rapid fire here. And he was doing very good in the race today. Unfortunately, he just couldn't put the end together, couldn't get quite where he needed to be to put together a win. But let's also talk about the Wood Brothers car of Josh Berry. Josh Berry came into this 21 ride at the end of last season when SHR shut its doors and went to a one-car operation. Last year, the Wood Brothers got their long-awaited 100th victory as a team. They almost got to 101 today. Josh Berry was so fast throughout most of the day. The Wood Brothers car was up there in the mix with the JGR cars, the 2311 cars, the Hendrick cars, the Penske cars, the RCR cars. All of the top-tier teams were up at the front, and Josh Berry had the Wood Brothers car up there constantly threatening to win this race. He was there at the very end. And let's talk about the closing laps of this race. Of course, as we get down to 3 to go, it's very obvious people are getting anxious and a little impatient to start making moves. And you can see it. They're all nice and organized, 2x2, 2x2, and then eventually 3x3. And then they just scatter coming off of turn 2 with 3 laps to go. With 3 laps to go, they're coming off turn 2. They scatter. They're in every which direction. Cindric tries to make a move to the outside. Hits the wall, comes down, but as he's coming down, Byron is coming up. I don't think that was intentional. I think they just didn't know that each other were going to be there. And that turned the 2 and the 24 together and into the infield wall. Then we go to a 2-lap shootout, and that's where all the chaos happens. Carson Hocevar is now at the front, threatening to win. Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell is up there threatening to win. Josh Berry is up there, still a threat to win. On the last lap, they even said on the broadcast, right now, the way this is playing out, you want to be leading when that white flag drops. And sure enough, the race ended under caution. Because a few of the guys got a little squirrely back in the pack. Josh Berry got turned, a few other cars got turned. And it looked like we were coming to an almost repeat of last year's Atlanta finish, which was the three-wide photo finish. We didn't get that far. Going into turn 3, of course, as the wreck was happening, the caution was thrown. And they said, we're going to have to look at the footage. Well, you look at the footage, and it's clear as day. When the caution light came on, it's Christopher Bell that won the race. So Toyota, after qualifying the worst of the manufacturers and having the worst day overall as an OEM, wins the Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta. Christopher Bell gets his first win of the season. Has another great battle with Kyle Larson. They've had a lot of battles in and out of NASCAR. Carson Hocevar was a threat to win. He was up there for that three-wide finish coming to the end there. It would have been great to see him back up the aggressive driving today with a win. Because now it seems like he was just spinning people and wrecking people for no reason. But we're going to see more of that this year. Carson's a great driver. He just needs to chill and realize he can't keep getting away with this. Because at some point, he's going to turn the wrong person. And he's going to get punched, more than likely by Kyle Busch. But yeah, with that said, great day for NASCAR. Great race. Ended under the lights at Atlanta. Christopher Bell wins the Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta. I am way too close to the camera. I really need to get that ring light fixed. Anyway, but with that said, we look ahead to one of my favorite races of the year, the Echo Park Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas next weekend on the now shortened layout of Circuit of the Americas. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays into things. Of course, being a road course, there's a lot of front runners already favored to win. You've got Shane Van Gisbergen, you've got Ross Chastain, whose very first career win came at the track. You've got William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson. They're all road course ringers. Of course, you've got to talk about AJ Allmendinger. He's a road course ringer. He's probably going to be racing next week. So it's going to be an interesting race. Of course, Red Bull will be the primary sponsor for the 88 of Shane Van Gisbergen. So a Red Bull primary scheme in the field with a bunch of Monster Energy schemes. We're going to have the Monster versus Red Bull wars once again. It's going to be a lot of fun, so tune in next week. Can't wait. And until next time, we will see you in Victory Lane.